What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a couple names that have been talked about a little bit more, and it's been two names that are kind of towards the top. One 100% being towards the top of who's available at the trade deadline, and the other kind of being a guy that I think a lot of people, including Leaf fans, are definitely on the fence about. One being Timo Meier, the other being Patrick Kane. There's been a ton of talk about them, and we're going to get to that in this video in regards to the Maple Leafs. So if you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe, join the squad. I'd love to have you guys here. I know there's a ton of you guys watching that aren't subscribed. I've got some cool stuff planned about trades and maybe a deadline stream. We're going to be trying to get all that done. But yeah, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you're new. I'd greatly appreciate that. But as we get closer and closer to the deadline, we've still got some time here. We still got a few weeks. It's getting a little bit more noticeable that some teams are trying to make their decisions. Like, look at, teams like Columbus and teams like Arizona. They're trying to move out guys right now, like Chychrun being the biggest one. So Timo Meier and Patrick Kane, the talk is starting to pick up a little bit, and there's some teams that are trying to really narrow down their hunt on these players. Now, Luke Fox put out an article on Valentine's Day a couple days ago talking about the Timo Meier sweepstakes being in full swing. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are reportedly one of the 4 teams sharpening their pencils and prepping their best offer. The Maple Leafs joined the Devils, Hurricanes, Knights, and yeah, so they joined those teams, and they're trying to up their offers a little bit to see if they can really make a deal here for Timo Meier, which, again, biggest fish in the pond. He's the guy that most teams are going after. I'm pretty sure every team in the league would have interest in Timo Meier. So if they're one of the top 4 teams, that's good. They have significant interest. So on Real Kipper and Bourne, Mike Fuda, who is a former Hurricanes advisor, thinks that the Carolina Hurricanes have the keys to the car. The Devils have plenty of cap space now and in the future, and the Hurricanes and Knights have lineup holes and have used a lot of long-term injured reserve. And what I don't like in this article is this. The Maple Leafs feel like the long shot here, right? So this is where I'm going to be probably not anybody's favorite if you're a Leaf fan looking at Timo Meier. I have fully believed that the Leafs are definitely checking in on Timo Meier. I don't have any sources, but from what we're hearing, and, just out of due diligence, like Kyle Dubas would be stupid not to at least check in on Timo Meier. I think he's definitely checking in, but I don't believe the Leafs are going to be taking that swing at him that everybody thinks they're going to. Dubas has never really operated like that at the deadline. Do I think he should this time around? Yes, but it seems like a foregone conclusion that the New Jersey Devils are the team that have had the most interest, and they're the team that's willing to give up the most in a trade. It seems like they're trying to be the guys that will outbid any one of these teams regardless, because their interest in Timo Meier has been significant for like probably a month now. They've been really after him, according to all the different reports. The Hurricanes always find ways to make deals happen. Obviously, with Pacioretty out, they have more money to play with. The Knights, with Mark Stone out, they have money to play with. So I honestly don't think the Knights are getting him. I don't think the Leafs are getting him. I think it's between the Devils and Hurricanes. But if we're playing, devil's advocate here, I think the Leafs have all the pieces in the world to make this trade happen. Like right now, if the Leafs went to the Sharks, they have all the pieces that the Sharks would want. You have a guy in Matthew Knies. Are you willing to give him up? You probably have to in a Timo Meier trade if you're going to get him now, because this is, a little bit out from the deadline. You're getting some additional games. Are you including a first-round pick? More than likely. Are you including a second? More than likely. Are you attaching another good prospect? More than likely. And especially with salaries going to have to be retained here, maybe a contract is going the other way. It's a lot of moving pieces, but I do believe that the Leafs have it. I'm not just saying it just to say it as a fan. The Leafs have a lot of pieces that they can move in this deal. And especially because this guy is worth it. I mean, $6 million cap hit. Again, the Leafs would have to definitely get some 50% retained there and maybe get a third team involved. Just look at his numbers. I mean, the guy can put up 30 goals in his sleep. He's a guy that can give you a ton of points. 31 goals already this year. He's going to touch 40 goals. The Leafs adding a 40-goal scorer to this team in their top six, getting a bona fide guy that can play in that top six, play on that top line. It pushes Bunting down. It pushes everybody down. It makes this team much better. It's a no-brainer. You don't just get a 30-goal guy for, like, it doesn't just grow on trees. Like, you're not just getting these guys out of nowhere. It's something that the Leafs have to strongly consider, and I do believe they have the pieces to get it done. Will they is the other question. I'm not really sure if that's the case. I'll be completely honest with you guys. It seems like the Leafs are one of the teams interested, and it seems like they're one of the teams with a lot of interest, but there's a difference between a lot of interest and talking trade, because apparently the Devils and Sharks have already had a lot of discussion, especially the last week or so. Apparently they've been talking quite a bit. The next little bit of information I want to talk about here is on Patrick Kane. Now, this was really interesting to me, and this is where I kind of have a theory. I've always loved Carlo Koliakovo. I think he's a pretty good guy. I happen to like when he's talking. I think he's an intelligent guy, obviously former Leaf, former NHLer, and he believes that it was the Rangers or the Leafs that Patrick Kane wanted to go to. Those are the two teams that he narrowed, his destinations to. Now, Patrick Kane was just in Toronto after the game against the Leafs the other day. They didn't let him talk to the media, because I'm guessing that would have been the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth question for him was, do you want to come to Toronto? Would you waive to come to Toronto? And you wouldn't get an answer out of him. But then again, as we know, the New York Rangers were just after him. Apparently, they wanted him, but then they got Tarasenko. They thought it was a better option, which they chose right. And we'll talk about that in a second. But it seems like Patrick Kane wanted to go there because he was talking about wanting to go there and wanting to play there, but they went and got Tarasenko. Carlo Koliakovo saying that the other team is the Leafs would then narrow it down to Toronto being the destination for Patrick Kane. But is that something that the Leafs want? And that might sound ridiculous, because let me just say this first. Patrick Kane is a Hall of Famer. He is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is an elite player in his prime. And this season, he hasn't been so good. He's slowing down. He doesn't back check. He doesn't play defense. And it's probably not the best idea for the Maple Leafs unless they get him dirt cheap and he starts lighting it up with the Leafs. Maybe with, better players, he just turns it on again. But the way that he played against the Leafs the other night was extremely concerning. He had no life to him. He was moving insanely slow. There was no back checking. There was no effort. And that's been something that a lot of Hawks fans have been noticing. It's not that you don't like the guy. He's slowing down. And his contract is quite expensive. And that's the next thing that we have to get into. Because the guy has only 35 points in 50 games this year. Now, that's not terrible. But the issue is that he's getting paid like $10.5 million per season. So you would definitely need 3 teams in this deal to get this cap hit down to where the Leafs need it to be. There has to be money going out, etc. Now, I'm not sure what the asking price on Patrick Kane is going to be, but Patrick Kane does a lot of his work on the power play, especially this year. And are the Leafs going to put him on the power play? I mean, I don't know, like on the second power play unit, because the Leafs seem to like who they've got on the first unit, and they've got a lot of studs. If you look at his numbers this year, 16 of his points have come on the power play. He's got 16 points out of his 35 points. That's like literally almost like basically half of his points come on the power play, which is not exactly terrible, but at the same time, the number I'm also looking at is 2, right? He only has 2 power play goals. So he's not exactly lighting the lamp on the power play. Those could be like a secondary assist here and there as well, right? So he's 34 years old. He's not really scorching the earth with scoring. And if we look at his numbers previous, like Sure, 26 goals last year for 96 points. Like, he actually had a pretty good season, or sorry, for 92 points. The year before that, 66 and 56, 84 and 70. This year seems like he took a significant drop off. But part of that, again, playing devil's advocate, is the fact that the Hawks are absolutely terrible. They're brutal. Like, this guy hasn't been in the playoffs now for 2 years, and the Hawks are just not good. But the problem is that Patrick Kane is playing to their level now. He's not playing very good. He's not back. Like I said, he's not back checking. He's showing no effort. And if the going rate is like a first round pick and a prospect, or even a second round pick, I'm not even sure if the Leafs should entertain this, because again, they're gonna have to pay a third team to get involved with this, to take on some money, and they're gonna have to pay a premium for that. So, like, is this worth it? Are you really making a 3-team trade for Patrick Kane? The only way that this makes sense is if Patty Kane goes, listen, I only wanted to go to New York or Toronto. If that's actually true, and he wants to leave Chicago, he wants to play in the with Austin Matthews, he wants to be in the playoffs. I mean, Chicago is gonna have to be like, listen, we'll take what we can get then, I guess. Like, we'll take a second round pick and a nothing prospect and a contract back the other way, plus the Leafs having to pay a third team. They might have to do that. I don't think the value for Patrick Kane is there this season. So, again, it's not just looking at his numbers and saying, oh, well, the Blackhawks are bad. You have to look at the other side of things, and that's just flat out the way that he's playing hockey, the effort that he's giving, and it's not a lot. So, you have to look at both of those things. So, again, let me know what you guys think on both of those players. This wasn't a video saying the Leafs aren't going to get either of these guys. In an hour from now, even literally seconds from now, all of this could change. There could be a report coming out saying that the Leafs are in on both of them and whatever, which is not going to happen. I'm just saying that's just what happens, right? So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the squad. I'd love to have you guys here. Again, tell me what you guys think down below. I love and appreciate you guys as always. Go Leafs, go. Peace.